what I've done is I listened to some of the recordings and I found some common denominators. And as a result, I wanted to simplify the process by creating this, that I will start out the call. You need to be aggressive and attack the calls. You need to create momentum and sound confident while doing so. I do not want to hear any, how are you? How are you doing? It's number one, not part of the script. Number two, it's unnecessary. You're never going to speak to these people again. You don't care how they're doing, number one. And number two, they don't care how you're doing. All you're doing is wasting time and wasting any momentum that you might have had. You need to jump into the call and attack it immediately. I also do not want to hear, can you hear me? Again, assume that they can. Attack the call. There should be nothing else said but, hi, my name is David. I'm calling from Sunlight Solar. What we're doing is calling people in your area. Nothing else should be said but what's on the script. I want you to immediately hang up if they say, put me on your do not call list. I want you to immediately hang up if they sound like your great-great-grandmother or great-great-grandfather. If they sound as if they have 1 foot in the grave and are about to die of old age, hang up. They are going to waste your time. It does not matter how interested they are, how cooperative they are. They are not our customer. They will not outlive the benefits of solar. Therefore, from a financial perspective, it makes no sense. That's number one. Number two, there are laws against selling to elderly people, because every day we get transfers of people who sound like they have 1 foot in the grave and fart dust because they're so old. It's a waste of time for you as an agent. It's a waste of time for my closing agents to speak to these people. Nothing good is going to happen. So again, if someone says, put me on your do not call list, hang up immediately. If they sound like they're too old, hang up immediately. Now, when I say old, I'm not talking about 65 or 70. All right, I'm talking about people who sound like they're 85 and above. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, if there is no such thing as a perfect pitch. Someone will interrupt you with a question, comment, or a concern. The difference between success and failure is how you deal with those questions, comments, or concerns. Now, in the training, we talked about the difference between customer service and sales. They are completely opposite of one another. As a customer service agent, your job is to satisfy the customer. You care about what the customer wants. You care about what the customer needs. You care about what the customer asks for. You care about what the customer cares about. You don't want to piss off the customer. You want to be as nice as possible and help the customer out however you can. That's the goal of a customer service agent. We do not do that. We are in sales. Now with sales, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're successful and you got your goal accomplished as an opening agent, in that case, transferring the call, or you failed. There is no partial pregnancy. You can't be in the middle. It's one or the other. With sales, you don't care about what the customer wants. You don't care what the customer thinks. You don't care what the customer cares about. All you care about is whether you were successful or whether you failed. Now, again, it's how you deal with the question, comment, or concern that matters. Now, your goal is to get to the questions and get them answered as fast as possible without going too slow or too fast. You don't want to have to waste time repeating yourselves. So if someone asks you a question, comment, or a concern, before you ask and get answered all three questions, you must deal with it like this. I understand your concern about whatever it is they asked you about, and I'll gladly answer it. Just so I don't waste your time or mine, let me ask you three simple questions so that I know that you qualify. Do not wait for an answer. Just go right into it. Do you own the property or do you rent it? You own it. Okay. And what type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home, manufactured home? What type of home do you have? Single family. Perfect. And if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher than in the winter, what would you say your average monthly electric bill is? About $185. Okay. I have a specialist on the line that can start the process for you. Please stay on the line while I transfer you. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more. You found out that they're interested by answering your questions and being cooperative, and you found out that they pre-qualified. Now, transfer the call. Let the closing agent do their job. You must control the conversation. Your job is to get to the questions as fast as possible without going too fast or too slow that you're not understandable, in which case you're going to have to repeat yourself, wasting valuable time. So you got to figure out, A, how to control the conversation, B, how to sound confident in doing it, and number three, the proper pacing. So you're not wasting time having to repeat yourselves. Now, when you're going through the questions, if they are a renter, hang up immediately. Nothing else needs to be said. If they own the property, continue. Ask the second question. What type of home do you live in? If it's anything but a single family residence, hang up. Single family residence, continue. What's your average electric bill? If it's anything less than $100, hang up. If you do not hang up on any of these three scenarios, you're just wasting your time, because it does not matter how interested or how cooperative they are if they do not meet all three of these requirements. The mindset is the customer is going to say something to try to get you off the phone as fast as possible.
Mhm.
Now, maybe some people are just straight up and honest and just say, hey, not interested, don't call me, put me on your do not call list, or simply just hang up. We like those people because they're not wasting our time.
Mhm.
And you have the other type of people who are not as straightforward, who will either test you or will say something, anything that comes to their mind to get you off the phone as fast as possible. It's how we deal with that that is the difference between success and failure. Now, it really doesn't matter what they ask or what they say. Doesn't matter what their question, comment, or concern is. Again, either in every conversation, someone is selling something to somebody. Either you as the agent are selling the idea of solar to them, or they're selling the agent as to why they're not interested. Now, again, there is no happy medium. There is no partial pregnancy. Either you sold them or they sold you. There's nothing in between that. Success or failure, that's all there is. Those are the two choices. So, how do you deal with something like that? So, Alvin, let's role play.
Sure.
Hi, my name's David. I'm calling from Sunlight Solar. What we're doing is calling people in your area that are interested in lowering their electric bill by as much as 60%. Now, there's a win-win opportunity. There are no out-of-pocket expenses for you. And as I said, your electric bill will be cut by as much as 60%. Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. But what is the cost of the solar, and how much should I pay to get the solar?
You know what? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. Just so we don't waste each other's time, let me just ask you three simple questions so I know that you qualify. Do you own the property or do you rent it?
No, I own it for sure.
Great. And what type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home, manufactured home? What type of home do you have?
It's a single family residence, but let me ask you, actually, I would like to know your company name so I can make a lookup and make sure about the
Yeah,
company
I'll be more
reputation.
than happy to answer that. What would you say your average monthly electric bill is if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher in the winter?
No, it's more than $100 per month.
Okay, great. I have a specialist on the line that can answer any and all of those questions. Please stay on the line while I transfer you. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Alvin, did I care what your questions were?
You did your part 100%.
Did I control the conversation or did I let you control the conversation?
You control it for sure.
Was I successful or did I fail?
You did success for sure.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's as easy as it is. It doesn't matter what their question is. Doesn't matter what their comment is. You have to follow these directions to be successful. You have to be aggressive and you try to avoid the landmine. When people hang up on you, you want that. As I said earlier, there are two types of people. those people that are upfront and just let you know how it is. I'm not interested, put me on your do not call list, or they simply just hang up.
Mhm.
Right? And
Yep.
then, okay, we like those people because we're one
Don't waste time.
call closer to finding the person that we really want to speak with, right?
Yes.
Otherwise,
eliminate.
we're just wasting our time. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is simply a numbers game. The more calls you make, the more people you speak with, the more people you speak with, the more pitches, the more pitches, the more applications, the more applications, the more money you guys make.
Mhm.
That's telemarketing in a nutshell.
Mhm.
Now, you're all going to make between 500 and 800 calls in a day.
Yeah.
Now, if you submitted, so how does the numbers work? Let's say you made 500 calls in a day. You know, before you even start, you're going to make 500, at least 500 calls a day. And you also know at the same time that 99% of them are not going to be good. Either because they hang up on you immediately, they tell you right off the bat they're not interested, or they tell you to put you on the do not call list, right?
Yes. Right.
All right. So out of that 500 calls,
Mhm.
495 of them are not going to be good, right?
Makes sense.
So that leaves out of 500, and 495 are not going to be good. Your entire day boils down to 5 calls that actually matter. 5 calls. Your entire day is boiled down to 5 calls.
Mhm.
So you need to take advantage of those 5 calls that matter, right?